Hi everyone. I've had a few conversations with people this past week about discounting in the light of the current pandemic situation that we're in. And I've also seen a lot of businesses discounting their products and services. So if a lot of people are doing it, does that mean it's a good idea? Well, it might be a good idea for your business, but it might not. So I thought I'd make this quick video to just explain what you need to consider before you discount your products or services. So first of all, will you still make a profit? To answer this question, you need to know your net profit margin. If you've never worked this out before, your net profit margin is your sales in a given period, say last quarter or last year, then take away your costs in that same period. So that's the cost of goods sold, your overheads, salaries, marketing, all of your costs, and then divide that by your sales for the period. And it's really important to work this out because if your net profit margin is, say, 20% and you suddenly discount your products by 20% without reducing any of your costs, that's all of your profit gone. And if your profit margin is 10% and you discount your products by 20%, then you'd be better off just shutting your business. You're losing money. So before you even think about discounting, make sure you've checked this number first. It's really, really important. So that's number one. The second thing is I'm always very wary of discounting because if you're not careful, it really devalues how your customers see what you offer. So your customers devalue what you offer. Now, there's a well-known clothing brand who I'm thinking of, I won't name, who they regularly discount their clothes by 10, 25%. And because they're always discounting their stuff, I'd never pay full price for their clothes because I know they'll send me another discount voucher soon. And I'm also really reluctant to buy when the discount's only 10% because I know they'll probably send me a bigger discount soon. So the other risk with discounting is that it erodes customer loyalty. So if I pay £50 for something and then next week I discover there's a 20% discount on it, I'm going to feel really annoyed about that. I won't enjoy my purchase nearly as much because every time I look at it, I'll think, oh, I paid more than I needed to. And I'm not going to trust the seller as much because, well, maybe they'll do that to me again. So be careful about discounting, especially if your customers are loyal to you. It could be a huge risk for your business, so be very careful. So that's the second thing. The third thing is to make sure that you know why you're discounting. Sounds quite obvious. If you're discounting just because everyone else around you is discounting, please stop. That's never a good reason to discount. And I rant about it every year on Black Friday. Discounting because everyone else is the worst reason to discount. Now, if your offering is now less valuable, for example, if you deliver a service that doesn't work quite as effectively when it's now delivered online instead of face-to-face, like, say, team building perhaps, then it might be appropriate to reduce the price to reflect the reduced value. But in that situation, you want to make it really clear to your customers that you're offering something less valuable. And so to avoid devaluing the in-person offering, I'd create a new product with a different name, different price tag, which is the virtual version of what you offer. So repackage it into a completely different product and say that the in-person product is not currently available. And that way it's clear to your customers that the online offer is a different price and you're not accidentally filing yourselves as cheaper than you really are. I hope that makes sense. Now, if the reason you're discounting is because what you offer is suddenly in dire need, like hand wash or homeschooling resources, and you genuinely want to help people and you can afford to reduce your price, so you've checked your net profit margin, then that's different. I'd also recommend you get in touch with recent customers, offer them a partial refund or something extra like a gift, so they don't feel put out that they lost out on the reduced price because they bought too soon. And this is actually a really good reason to discount because it isn't about trying to make money, it's the opposite. You might well end up making less money than you would without the discount. It's about your values and what's important to you. So if you went into business because you've got a passion to help people with something, with a problem that's suddenly skyrocketed right now, then be upfront about your reasons, shout it from the rooftops, and you might find that it actually turns out to be really good PR. The last thing I wanted to mention quickly is what can you do instead of discounting? So if at all possible, I advise people to add value instead of discounting. So if you need to discount to win sales, then it means that your customers aren't seeing the value in what you're offering. Now, that's not to say you've priced it wrong. It might just be that your messaging isn't right. It might mean that people just aren't quite understanding the real value that you're offering. So to the people that I spoke to this week, I advised adding extra value in terms of extra video content, tutorials, PDF downloads, audios, other materials that could be created for them quite quickly and packaged into the product to add value for their customers. Because then when your customer's looking at the price, they'll see a lot more value for their money. So that's an alternative to discounting. So I hope that's been helpful. And if you need any advice on whether discounting is right for your business right now, then you can book a free 30-minute call with me via my website, and we can talk about your context and work out whether it's the right thing for you to do. So I hope that's been useful. Stay safe, everyone.